a stay-at-home dad, watching Disney movies he never had. His daughter digs through all the VHS, crushing the classics in a princess dress. Informed like Scuttle, Kurt's got your ticket, making it real like Jiminy Cricket. Most are off the Captain Hook, but if the Tweedledum, he'll be taking more shots than Bambi's mom. Leaves him raised like Simba, or cracked like the beach dishes. He'll show you a whole new world, you won't need 3 wishes. Stay at home, Disney Dad.
Oh yeah, it's spooky season, so put on your pointy black hats as we're about to escape to Witch Mountain. No, not the rock version, not the Dwayne Johnson version, the original 1975 one. I've heard nothing but good things about this one. Now, usually I go into these old-timey live Disney movies feeling like they're gonna suck, and instead they surprise me and they're awesome. I'm going into this one expecting big things, so let's see what happens when we press play on the VCR. Walt Disney Pictures presents Escape to Witch Mountain. Eddie Albert is in it. That sounds familiar. Fantastic. Wonderful, spooky animation to kick this movie off. For real, we got a silhouette of some running kids being chased by the hollow outlines of animated dogs. Honestly, this already feels ahead of its time. We start with a shot of Pinewoods truck. It's a Pinewoods truck. It's taking a couple of kids to the Pinewoods orphanage. We meet Tony and Tia. They're filling out some entry papers, and some annoying ginger kid steals Tia's pen. Yeah, their foster parents passed away, and now they're back in the system. They only remember their adopted name, Malone. They don't remember what happened before. Their adopted parents adopted them. Tia, though, is starting to have these weird flashbacks. Okay, these kids have superpowers. Tia levitates her brother. He catches the ginger kid's home run hit during a baseball game they're playing. The ginger says, "There's something funny about them Malone kids," and he tries to swing at Tony, but Tia uses the force, and the ginger kid gets attacked by a ball glove and a bat and runs away while everyone looks on in silence. Yeah, no cheers or anything. Everyone is now scared of these 2 devil kids. This is a nice, rare, like, exactly what would happen in this situation in a kid's movie, right, for once. No one's like, yay, the kids are possessed. Later in bed, they're speaking telepathically to each other about how they weren't going to do any spooky stuff. That's how they lost all their friends last time. They could sense there's 6 or 7 big dogs 20 miles away. The next day, the ginger is relentless. He wants to fight Tony again. They make a black cat attack the ginger, and boy, I hope it's the wise-cracking one from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. The school bus shows up. The kids pile on after school. Tia is getting a premonition of disaster. She goes across the street, tells this rich guy not to get back into his limo, and after he doesn't, the limo is hit by a truck. The guy is part of some, like, secret meeting of evil businessmen, and he's like, "Gentlemen, I think I found what you're looking for. This guy is bad news." He returns to the orphanage and just saunters up to the kids in the playground, and he chats them up. Different times, folks, different times. He's like, "Does this happen all the time?" Knowing what's going to happen before it does. They don't say anything. He inquires about their names. Tony and Tia Maloney finds out. Now the boy is playing the harmonica and coloring with a levitating crayon. I guess that's his thing. He can move objects while playing the harmonica. That's cool. I didn't mention it because I didn't think it was important, but the bully ginger tried to take and drop, like, this case Tia had, and now that it's broken, they discover there's a hidden map inside the lid. As soon as he figures out where this is, the kids are going to go there, and Tony still hears the dogs. Tia has more flashbacks now, and Tony's seeing places they have yet to be. The evil underling Lucas, is that Donald Pleasance? Donald, Michael Myers' dad or psychiatrist or whatever. Anyway, now he's pitching his case to the main bad guy boss, Aristotle Bolt, about these magic kids. Bolt says, "If you're wrong about them, you're done for. So let's do it. You're their uncle. Forge the papers, adopt them, and bring them here." We jump really far ahead in time. Papers are signed and official, and they are going home with Uncle. Let's transport Michael Myers somewhere every Halloween. Despite it being the night he kills people and always ends up escaping. But enough about that. Back to this movie. Focus. The guy working the Xanthus gate is allergic to cats and sneezes constantly because the kids are smuggling in a cat. When the giant gate opens, they see the dogs they've been hearing and the mansion just as Toby drew it with his magical harmonica crayons. Mr. Bolt calls his house Xanthus, and the kids will be his guests. They are greeted with ice cream cones, so off to a good start. They call the kids' rooms their quarters. Would you like to see your quarters? And that was funny for me. funny to me for some reason. Like asking a kid if they wanted to see their new living quarters to show the disconnect between age groups is really good. Their rooms are a giant play area, like a giant toy store basically. They're loving it. For real, kids, use those power users to shut off anyone's mind they ever ask you to do. Your lives will never be better than it is right now. It's worth it to be able to stay here. Even the cat has his own private quarters. They get tutors. The kids ask where the other neighbor kids are, and it's a record scratch moment. You're on an island, you dolt kids. Uncle Michael Myers' doctor says, Mr. Bolt owns everything you can see out the window. Tia says, he doesn't own the sky. And Mr. Bolt looks like he wants to toss her out the window. They're learning to ride horses, and Tia uses her telepathy to calm the wild horse, and everyone is in awe. Rancher Bob, or whomever was helping the kids, explains it like this. I've never seen it like this my whole life. Not 100% sure what he was referring to, but okay. Uncle Myers looks on smiling. He knows what's up. Thunderstorm puts the kids back inside, and the kids have a natural and casual conversation. Come to think of it, there are a lot of things you can do that I can't. It sounds like those two people talking radio commercials that always sound forced and phony. Then they use their magic and no, burn this whole house down. Oh my God, what? No. Terrifying. This is like Mary Poppins after a night of drinking and hating kids. Okay, they have hidden cameras set up in the kid's bedroom, which is also troublesome, but the bad guys are watching this and Mr. Bolt is very impressed. He basically says, if he asks, he's going to torture the kids if they don't use their powers to help him do what he wants. That night, Tia comes to Tony, is like, Mr. Bolt is mean and he's never going to let us go. Now they're dining in Wayne Manor, and Bolt just jumps in. He's like, I know you kids are psychic and have powers. And the uncle is like, don't do this soon. And Bolt's like, they can read minds, you idiot. I'm sure they already know what's up. That's great. He's like, you kids could walk across fields and tell me where the oil is under it, or see natural catastrophes coming before anyone else. The kids send Mr. Bolt and Lucas to bed. Not sure if that was mind control or why they just left the room. I must have missed something while I was looking down typing. But Tia has more flashbacks of people struggling in the water. It's very Titanic. They eavesdrop on the bad guys in the other room who are like, let them try to escape. They'll never make it alive. The kids need to do something. So that night they grab the cat, they make a break for it through the castle, and they get outside. The music picks up, and the guards release the hounds on the kid. Not sure why. The kids are outrunning the dogs, but I mean, the dogs are gonna kill the kids, aren't they, right? Mr. Bolt is mad that they released the hounds and the kids are probably dead by now, or are they? Tia gets in the dogs' minds, and then the dogs turn around and chase the adults back to the castle, like dogs do. Next, they try to open the main gate, but the guard is holding it shut, so they send the cat in and makes him sneeze, and as he sneezes, they get the opportunity they need to open the gate and get out. Then they call the horse. The kids get on the horse and ride away. Bolt yells at the uncle, find those kids! The kids get far enough away and they bail from the horse. They hear sirens, so they gotta keep moving. I'm very confused how they can use their powers to control some things and some people, but apparently not other things or other people. The bad guys pull up to some guy in a Winnebago getting gas, and they ask him if they've seen two kids. He's like, they better be going the exact opposite direction of me, which is a really weird thing to say. And then he speeds away, but the kids are actually hiding inside his RV, and this becomes a Breaking Bad. He drives his motorhome to the ocean, and the cat hops out. And I don't know what this guy's deal is, but he seems like a nice guy to the cat, but then he opens the vehicle and he sees the kids hiding, and he cuts a sermon about how he hates kids, and his acting is just all over the map here. It's good, it's bad, it's good, it's bad. He's mad, and then he's like, I'll make you kids breakfast first, but don't get no ideas. I'll be honest. I expected bigger things from this movie. This is one of their more famous old-timey movies, isn't it? The live ones. The uncle is working with the local police, that Lucas guy, and they deduced, great word, that the kids may have actually hidden in that camper that they questioned. So now the police are looking for that Winnebago. Back in the camper, Tia has another flashback, and this dude driving the camper could be someone important. Maybe was he in the flashback? He goes to a gas station, he's pumping more gas, and the gas guy says, sure is a nice day, and this guy goes, not with what you're charging for gas. What a d-. The kicker, he filled up his entire RV for $10 even. Hashtag 1975. The guy is now warming up to the kids. He's like, if Aristotle Bolt is really after you kids, we might be together a long time. The cop pulls up beside him and waves him over. The cop gets off his motorbike, and then Tony starts playing the harmonica, and the cop's bike with no rider fires up. the kickstand flips up and the bike drives itself off a cliff. And I can guarantee you, if I was a kid, I would have watched that part over and over and over again. That was fun. The dude driving says, with powers like that, I should take you fishing. That's the best he can do. That signals another Tia flashback. She remembers they were fishing or something when they ended up in the drink. I don't know what to think. They're having a picnic and could you imagine this playing out for real? This old dude picks up 2 kids, runs from the cops, and takes them up to the mountains for a picnic. This is a completely different movie if you look through a 2023 lens. Tia's flashback gets a little clearer. There was a nautical accident. That's why they're in the ocean. This guy's name is Mr. O'Day, and I think they're trying to make Mr. O'Day into like a nice guy. And maybe this movie just aged poorly, but Mr. O'Day just seems kind of creepy. He tries to say that he's never been married or had kids, and they call him on it. They know he had a wife, but she died shortly after they were married, and Tony says, quote, "That's why you never gave your love to another woman." Tony. Calling him out like that. It's not the only reason. Look at this guy. Okay, rightfully so. He flips out. He's like, my name is Jason. Okay, the bad guy finds the RV and it's about to get real. Uncle Luca says, this time, make no mistake, and the Goonies pulls out a gun. Unreal. The cat squeals and wakes everyone up. Tia telepaths the gun out of his hand and it floats in the air and points back at the bad guys. Like, wow, this was tense for a Disney movie. This was not played for laughs or anything. That was a serious moment where it felt like Tia could have easily shot them with their own gun, like it was about to happen. O'Day knows these kids have powers now, and he's speeding down the highway like up ahead, or he says, up ahead, you jump out, they'll keep following me. They do, it doesn't work, and the kids get nabbed right away by the local cops. Again, now they don't use their powers. They're at the station being questioned by the chief, who's a he locks them up in a holding cell. He puts these kids in a jail cell. Why doesn't Tia just make this guy's head explode and they leave? Instead, they sit in this jail cell and she has more flashbacks. She remembers an Uncle Beignet speaking to them in a funny language. That's why it was so hard to learn English, because they spoke a funny language. Tony asks who Uncle Beignet is and she's like, he died. He drowned. From inside the cell, Toby uses harmonica and he brings the coat rack to life and it attacks the chief. And I know I'm not supposed to like this guy, but that is terrifying. Everything about this is terrifying. And the scene lasts forever and this guy is forever scarred and I'm not too far behind him. I didn't even know that was a fear of mine. As the guy from the Brave Little Toaster would say when imaginary objects come to life and attack people, everything's gone nutty cuckoo. They get out and free this caged bear that's inexplicably in a cage on the lawn, and we go to a press conference. It's decided that these kids are witches. They've obviously escaped from prison and they're on their way to Witch Mountain. In the forest, the kids who have the bear let it go, and someone off screen is like making the noise of a bear. Someone off screen is making it. Someone who's never heard what a bear sounds like is making bear noises. We transition to some hunters looking for the kids, but they only find the bear. O'Day wants to get the kids home for a meal, and the bad guys figure out O'Day has them, and they speed towards O'Day's house. Back to the kids. These flashbacks are sure ramping up suddenly for no apparent reason. The kids now both remember being in a shipwreck, and they had an Uncle Beignet, and he drowned. And then they didn't know what anyone was saying. They couldn't understand the language. They need to get to the top of the mountain that was in the map. And quote, do you think the people on the top of the mountain are our people? What's that moment in The Simpsons Halloween special where Lisa starts to explain that Snake's hair must have been possessed and Marge interrupts and goes, oh, Lisa, everyone's figured that out already. This is that. The car of bad guys pulls up and they call on the bear for one last favor. Yeah, maul Uncle Myers. That actually, he kind of looks like Pitbull and his henchman to death. That'd be a fun scene. Okay, this was actually pretty funny. They get out of their car and they go check the front door of the O'Day house. It's locked. And then they turn, they see O'Day and the kids speeding away in the camper. So they run back to their car and the bear is inside the car now, growling, so they can't get in. That was good. That was a good twist. They're still over-explaining the flashbacks. Their world had 2 stars, 2 devil stars. They come from a whole other solar system. Then it wasn't a boat, it was a spaceship. Their planet was dying and they had to bail. Everyone else's ship landed in the mountains up there and theirs crashed into the ocean and they were the only ones that survived the crash. That was one very long green screen car ride explanation. Bad guys get picked up in a helicopter. O'Day and the kids drive to Stony Creek, but the chopper is on their tails. O'Day, which by the way, is also my favorite Beck album. Starts heading up the mountain with the kids. There's a $5,000 reward for the hunters to catch the kids. They're wanted alive, but Pitbull doesn't care if they kill O'Day or not, because that's where it's at. O'Day and the kids are waiting in line they're waiting in the Misty Valley Cooperative, and Tony's like, I'm sensing something with the phone. So he picks it up, and they're like, is this Tony? Is Tia with you? We've been looking for you guys for years. The guy on the phone tells them to get back in O'Day's camper and keep going up. The chase is on. Pitbull and the hunters are hot on their tail. Tony uses his magic harmonica and a bag of flour, special defects out the camper, goes across your screen and splatters on the windshield of the hunters, taking them out. I mean, if I was Toby again, I would have just popped their heads like pimples, but whatever. Now Mr. Worldwide is chasing Breaking Bad in a car along with Aristotle in the helicopter. They are getting a lot of miles out of this chase scene, and credit where it's due, the editors and camera ops, they're doing a great job of cutting this together and creating tension. Pitbull takes a shortcut to cut them off as the helicopter continues the regular pursuit. Pitbull gets in front and parks the car sideways and gets out, but then the camper, speeding towards him, leaves the road and floats over the car, not T-boning it after all. The bumbler music just slams in hard. O'Day says, I don't believe it. Toby says, that's called levitation. O'Day says, that's not what I call it. I don't understand any of that, but that was closer than the devil's haircut. In the camper, it's flying next to the helicopter. This movie is just getting silly now. Aristotle says, that vehicle isn't supposed to be able to fly upside down. It's not supposed to be able to fly at all. The camper lands and they try to leave the cat with O'Day. He's like, nah. And they're like, take the cat, O'Day. And O'Day asks the cat, you want to stay with me? And the cat meows, and this movie has come off the rails. O'Day says he wants to remember them as his kids, the kids he never had. Suddenly out of the bushes comes another O'Day? No, it's Uncle Beignet, but he looks like an old version of O'Day. Is that what's happening? No, he's just another old white dude. Beignet says to O'Day, it's good to know that there are Earthmen as good as you, and hopefully the other kids with star cases and maps will find men as good as you. O'Day is like, I'll go back and try to find some more surviving kids and bring them here. And then we come out of the flashback, and child predator and kidnapper O'Day is in the police interrogation room, and he's like, and that's why I had all those kids in my camper van, officer. I was trying to return them to Witch Mountain to be with their alien families, I swear. That's the twist I wanted, but I didn't get. Instead, the helicopter crashes and Pitbull pulls his boss out. Aristotle's like, where are the children? Suddenly a flying saucer comes out from behind the bushes and flies away. What the actual is this movie? Man, I don't know what to make of this. I guess I expected it to be about witches. Man, we end up with O'Day petting his pussycat as everyone watches the UFO fly away. I mean, if I was Pitbull and Aristotle, I'd probably put a bullet in the back of O'Day's head just out of principle, but no, we get the dramatic music and we fade to black. No witches. Happy spooky October week 1. That was not Halloween themed at all.
That's what I think about.
What do you think?
What we have is a concern about Curtis Anderson. His interviewing style is not the best. His personal appearance is not the best. I was wondering if the man has some kind of a hold over the channel that he's allowed to be employed for so long with the standards of journalism and personal appearance that he has.